Du Qingyu and Jiang Wang couldn't stand each other since childhood. Yet, fate had it that one year, they were the only two suitable marriage partners left in their social circle. Du Qingyu declared she'd rather die than marry Jiang Wang. Suddenly intrigued, Jiang Wang retorted, "Then I'm definitely marrying you. Go ahead and drop dead." On their wedding day, Du Qingyu released dozens of ducks to humiliate Jiang Wang. Expressionless, he picked one up and called it wife. Du Qingyu instantly lost the desire to taunt him. Staring at the man so insistent on marrying her, she sneered, "You'll regret this." 3 years into the marriage, Jiang Wang caught Du Qingyu cheating for the 99th time. Only then did he truly understand what she meant by regret. Having flown through the night, Jiang Wang stared, his face sallow, at the clothes strewn across the floor. The cloying scent hanging in the air churned his stomach. Du Qingyu was naked, leaning against her male companion, who was draped in Jiang Wang's own pajamas. Her pale hand roamed over the man's body, the amusement in her eyes deepening. Du Qingyu raised an eyebrow, flashing a wicked smirk at the man who'd come to catch her. "Well, doesn't he look better in it than you?" She paused. "Jiang Wang, if I recall correctly, this makes 99 times, right? After all this, you still won't agree to a divorce." Jiang Wang numbly rubbed his stomach. For the first time, he didn't lash out at Du Qingyu's cruelty. "Get dressed. Let's talk outside." Du Qingyu scoffed at his retreating back. "Talk about what? What is there to talk about between us?" Jiang Wang stopped, but didn't turn around. "About the divorce." Du Qingyu's mouth fell open slightly in surprise. "Finally, Miss Du, your wish is about to be granted." Jiang Wang had barely been in the study for 5 minutes when Du Qingyu, now fully dressed, pushed the door open. Clearly, she was desperate to divorce him. "Jiang Wang, you're not joking, are you?" The contempt in her eyes was unmistakable. He didn't answer, merely pushing the divorce agreement across the desk toward her. "Take a look. If there are no issues, you can sign." Du Qingyu picked up the agreement suspiciously, her eyes probing. She simply couldn't believe Jiang Wang would divorce her. The Jiang family had long lost its former glory. She'd assumed he would cling to her desperately, determined to bleed her dry. But after reading the agreement, she was utterly stunned. Not only did Jiang Wang want none of her assets, but he was also voluntarily giving up the marital home. She frowned deeply. "Are you serious? You're not going to demand a divorce 1 minute and then run off to make a scene at the family estate the next, are you?" Jiang Wang remained perfectly calm throughout. "I'm serious. I won't cause any trouble. You can rest assured." Du Qingyu didn't hesitate any longer, quickly signing her name at the bottom. As the final stroke fell, a slight smile touched her lips, a huge weight lifting from her heart. "Since the agreement is signed, let's go to the Civil Affairs Bureau and file the papers immediately. There's a 30-day cooling-off period, and I don't want to waste a single extra day with you." "Now," Jiang Wang frowned slightly. "Ah, I knew it. Don't tell me you're already having second thoughts." Du Qingyu scoffed. A sharp pain twisted in Jiang Wang's stomach, but seeing Du Qingyu's mocking expression, he simply said, "Let's go." He went through the procedures with her without delay. As the official handed them a form, they were reminded, "If either of you regrets this within 30 days. How could I possibly regret it?" Du Qingyu tossed her pen onto the table, her smile widening. Jiang Wang came out later, only to see Du Qingyu's car still parked by the roadside. She honked at him, lowering the car window halfway. Du Qingyu took off her sunglasses, her expression relaxed as she began to mock him. "Jiang Wang, they say even one night as husband and wife counts for something. Since we shared a bed, let me help you out. Don't worry about being alone. I think she's quite suitable." Du Qingyu offered him a business card, clearly intending to watch him squirm. Unexpectedly, Jiang Wang reached out and took it. "All right, I'll consider it." With that, he turned calmly and walked away, leaving Du Qingyu frozen in place. Du Qingyu didn't know. 30 days. It wasn't just the countdown for the divorce cooling-off period. It was also the countdown to Jiang Wang's death. Jiang Wang wandered the streets, tightly clutching the death sentence the doctor had handed him. "So, you mean I only have about 30 days left? I'm very sorry, Mr. Jiang." It felt like a bolt from the blue, but this wasn't the first time Jiang Wang had felt this way. The Jiang family was currently in turmoil, and the entire burden rested on his shoulders. He felt lost then, too. He had called Du Qingyu. He thought that even just bickering or arguing with her might make him feel a little better. But Du Qingyu hung up every time he called. Finally, fed up with his persistence, she simply turned off her phone. The next time she reappeared, it was with a male model, lying stark naked in their marital bed. She hadn't seen Jiang Wang's despair. All she saw was a face that disgusted and repulsed her. She deliberately French-kissed the male model right in front of him, the silvery thread connecting their lips, stinging Jiang Wang's eyes. Well, want a divorce? Jiang Wang forced himself to remain calm and fled the room. In Jiang City, almost everyone knew he and Du Qingyu couldn't stand each other since childhood, always fighting whenever they met. And almost everyone assumed Jiang Wang hated Du Qingyu, just as she hated him. Jiang Wang touched the wedding ring on his finger. It was something Du Qingyu had reluctantly given him after the wedding, only because she was forced to. When she handed it over, she'd even thrown the ring box in his face. Initially, Jiang Wang had hidden his feelings well, until Du Qingyu pulled him close, demanding he fulfill his husbandly duties. Just as Jiang Wang was caught up in the moment, her hand brushed against the ring on his finger. Du Qingyu suddenly burst out laughing. Jiang Wang, don't tell me you actually like me? Is that why you've refused to divorce me all this time? If that's the case, you'd better get over it right now. Not only could I never possibly like you, I actively despise you. There's never hatred without reason. Du Qingyu disliked him because the Du and Jiang families had arranged their marriage long ago, forcing her first love to leave the country. That night, Jiang Wang lay awake until dawn. His own parents had a marriage of convenience, devoid of any affection. No one had ever taught him how to hold on to the person he loved. As a child, all he knew was to use sharp, antagonistic words to make Du Qingyu notice him. But what good did that do? Jiang Wang blinked his dry eyes. The constant buzzing of his phone disrupted his thoughts. He glanced at it. It was Du Qingyu sending out a flurry of red envelopes in a group chat, digital cash gifts often used for celebrations. What's going on? Why so happy, Miss Du? Someone asked in the chat. Du Qingyu didn't type anything back. Instead, she just dropped a picture into the chat, the signed agreement for their divorce cooling-off period. That single image hit the chat like a bombshell, instantly drawing out all the silent lurkers. Divorced? Jiang Wang actually agreed. This is fantastic news. Qingyu, you're finally free of that burden. Definitely cause for celebration. You said seeing Jiang Wang's face every day made you too upset to sleep. Now you're free. You could cycle through 10, 20 different guys by your side, and no one could say a word. Doesn't anyone find this weird? Qingyu slept with all those models, and Jiang Wang put up with it. Why would he suddenly stop tolerating it now? Maybe he's just messing with you? What if he doesn't show up when the cooling-off period ends? Then Qingyu still won't get the final divorce papers. After that message, the group chat fell silent. Immediately after, Jiang Wang's phone started ringing. Jiang Wang, you're not just messing with me, are you? When the cooling-off period is over, are you actually going to finalize the divorce? A faint, wry smile touched Jiang Wang's pale face. He spoke softly into the phone. Oh, yes, I'm just messing with you. A pause. Du Qingyu, what are you going to do about it? The person on the other end of the phone was gasping for breath. Jiang Wang imagined that if he were standing right in front of Du Qingyu at that moment, she wouldn't even wait the month. She'd probably try to strangle him with her sharp nails then and there. Before Du Qingyu could even start cursing him out, he laughed again. Du Qingyu, I'm not messing with you this time, but I have a condition. Du Qingyu didn't answer. Jiang Wang didn't seem to care, continuing on his own. I need you to do 10 things with me. Once those 10 things are done, I'll obediently sign the divorce papers with you. I promise, from then on, I will completely disappear from your world. The temptation of that offer was immense. Du Qingyu frowned tightly. 10 things is too many. 5. Jiang Wang chuckled softly. 5. The first thing, Jiang Wang wanted Du Qingyu to accompany him to a charity gala. He was dressed to the nines. When Du Qingyu came to find him, her fingers were flying across her phone screen, her eyes not even glancing his way. Jiang Wang didn't mind. He knew she rarely had anything nice to say. But unexpectedly, once they were in the car, the first thing Du Qingyu did upon seeing him was frown. A grown man like you dieting? Your complexion is sallow. It looks terrible. Jiang Wang's fingers curled slightly. He stared straight ahead, not responding. When they got out of the car, Du Qingyu grabbed his hand. Seeing Jiang Wang stiffen, she spoke with a touch of disdain. What's wrong? It's not like we haven't held hands before. We've done much more intimate things. Why are you acting all prim now? Jiang Wang's cold hand was enveloped by Du Qingyu's warm palm. This certainly wasn't the first time Du Qingyu had held his hand, but it was the first time she had initiated it. Everyone present stared wide-eyed at the strangely harmonious atmosphere between them. The auction began, and Jiang Wang saw something he wanted. He instinctively went to raise his paddle, but the woman beside him beat him to it. It was a posthumous work by a deceased foreign artist. Many people liked it and were eager to raise their bids. But in the end, Du Qingyu won it with a high bid. An inexplicable warmth spread through Jiang Wang's chest. Do this painting. Have it mailed to the Zhao family in Nanchang. Jiang Wang's outstretched hand froze midair. So, the painting wasn't bought for him after all. A thick wave of bitterness threatened to engulf him completely. He suddenly stood up and walked towards the exit. Du Qingyu frowned, strode after him, and grabbed his arm. It's not over yet. Where are you going? Seeing him ignore her, Du Qingyu grew impatient. You were the one who wanted me to come here with you. What's got into you now? Are you sick? That phrase, "Are you sick?" seemed to pierce Jiang Wang's heart. Yes, I am sick. He forcefully shook off Du Qingyu's hand and walked out without looking back, disappearing from sight. Jiang Wang didn't contact Du Qingyu for a week. He moved out of their marital home. At first, Du Qingyu didn't think much of it, but whenever she thought about the remaining 4 tasks, she felt restless, as if Jiang Wang would cling to her again if they weren't finished quickly. Unable to hold back any longer, she called Jiang Wang. When Du Qingyu's call came, Jiang Wang had just finished a radiotherapy session. His condition was deteriorating rapidly, accompanied by bone pain throughout his body. There are still 4 things left, Jiang Wang. Don't try any tricks. Jiang Wang paused for a moment. I want to go to Tibet. Du Qingyu frowned. Now? Yes, right now. Du Qingyu thought Jiang Wang was completely insane. But for the sake of the divorce, to get rid of him, she really did buy a plane ticket to Tibet right away. Jiang Wang arrived bundled up tightly. By the time he got there, Du Qingyu was already waiting impatiently. What took you so long? I offered to pick you up, but you refused. And then you take forever getting here yourself. Listening to her chatter, Jiang Wang simply picked up her suitcase. Knack, Du Qingyu scoffed, expertly handing him everything she was carrying. These were subconscious actions she didn't even notice herself. The plane was about to take off, but Du Qingyu's phone suddenly rang. Jiang Wang stood at the boarding gate, looking at her from a distance. Du Qingyu gripped her phone tightly, her body stiffening. Sorry, Jiang Wang. I can't go to Tibet with you anymore. With that said, Du Qingyu turned and ran out of the airport. Jiang Wang numbly took out his phone. Sure enough, the pinned post on his moments was from Zhao Yang. He hadn't said anything, just posted a painting. And just like that, Du Qingyu had unhesitatingly abandoned him and their promise, turning her back. Sir, it's almost time. Jiang Wang snapped back to reality. He stopped lingering on her retreating figure and chose to walk in the opposite direction. After landing in Tibet, Jiang Wang received a text message from Du Qingyu. I'll be 2 days late. You go ahead and have fun without me. Jiang Wang was a bit surprised. Surprisingly, she said she'd be late, not that she wasn't coming at all. It seemed Du Qingyu really couldn't wait to distance herself from him. Jiang Wang didn't wait for Du Qingyu. Instead, he found a local guide and joined a tour group. His stamina couldn't keep up with the others, so he spent most of his time resting alone in his room. By the time Du Qingyu arrived, he had already packed his suitcase and was preparing to leave. Jiang Wang, I dropped so much work to come here and indulge your crazy idea, just so you could mess with me like this? Furious, she kicked over Jiang Wang's suitcase. Seeing his clothes spill out, Jiang Wang let out a bitter laugh. Accompany me? Isn't Zhao Yang right next door? Du Qingyu's expression instantly stiffened, and she spoke, lacking some of her earlier confidence. Yang is just here to sketch. Stop always picking fights with him. Jiang Wang's fingers curled into fists. He chose not to say anything more, simply bending down to pick up the clothes on the floor. Am I interrupting something? Zhao Yang suddenly appeared at the doorway. The anger on Du Qingyu's face vanished instantly, replaced by caution and eagerness. Weren't you feeling unwell? Why are you up? Ah, well, I can't just lie around forever. What were you and Mr. Jiang talking about? It sounded a bit loud, so I thought I'd come see. Hearing him say this, Du Qingyu finally glanced towards Jiang Wang at the side. It's nothing. Are you hungry? I'll go get you something to eat. Zhao Yang nodded sheepishly. Du Qingyu was about to leave when her steps halted abruptly. She turned to Jiang Wang impatiently. And you? What do you want to eat? Jiang Wang finished packing the last item of clothing. Just that small bit of physical exertion had left him drenched in sweat. He heard the clear shift in Du Qingyu's tone. He replied flatly, no need. Seeing his refusal, Du Qingyu's expression soured instantly. Suit yourself. Starve for all I care. Your face is sickly pale. The door slammed shut, leaving only Jiang Wang and Zhao Yang in the room. This wasn't the first time Jiang Wang had met him. The Zhao family in Nanchang were merely nouveau riche, naturally looked down upon by the Du family. And Zhao Yang, proud by nature, felt the Du family were arrogant snobs. He had left in a fit of pique back then, hoping to make a name for himself abroad. Now he'd returned to the country with his tail between his legs, and the first thing he did was reconnect with his former first love. To an outsider like him, the whole situation seemed utterly ridiculous. With Du Qingyu gone, Zhao Yang didn't even bother pretending anymore. Mr. Jiang, long time no see. He kicked over the suitcase Jiang Wang had just spent ages repacking. Watching the things he'd painstakingly gathered and packed just moments ago get scattered so easily, Jiang Wang's anger instantly surged into his throat. He knew Zhao Yang was deliberately provoking him, and he fell for it without hesitation. He immediately punched him in the face. Du Qingyu walked in just in time to see this exact moment. The bowl of noodles she was carrying for Jiang Wang crashed to the floor. Without asking for any explanation, she strode forward and slapped Jiang Wang hard across the face. Jiang Wang, that's enough. Zhao Yang, pale-faced, looked at Du Qingyu. It's my fault. I accidentally kicked over Mr. Zhang's suitcase. I know he doesn't welcome me. I really shouldn't have come here. He turned and left the room. Without a second thought, Du Qingyu moved to follow him. Jiang Wang suddenly called out to her. Du Qingyu. The third thing, stay. Du Qingyu clenched her fists, glaring furiously at Jiang Wang. Jiang Wang knew what she wanted to say. He took a ragged breath, his body seeming to lose all strength as he slumped to the floor. He rubbed his ear, still ringing from where she'd hit him. Sitting by the pile of clothes on the ground, he started refolding them. Isn't this what you wanted? To divorce me and marry Zhao Yang. After this task, there are only two left. Are you really going to give up after coming this far? Honestly, I wasn't satisfied with how you handled the first two. Don't tell me you've changed your mind about divorcing me. Finished speaking, he lifted his gaze to meet hers. He saw her ink-dark eyes layered with deep scorn. Jiang Wang, self-awareness is a virtue. A pity you lack it. This third task, I agree to it. But remember this clearly. The Zhang family can't protect you anymore. If you dare lay a hand on a Yang again, I'll make sure there's not enough left of you to bury. Jiang Wang lowered his head, a bitter smile twisting his lips. Who didn't know how to make threats? Back when their arguments were at their fiercest, Du Qingyu had never been his match. Besides, he would soon grant her wish anyway. She wouldn't even need to lift a finger. Du Qingyu made a call to Zhao Yang, soothing him until he was calm. Under her arrangements, he would return to the country early. Watching how carefully she protected Zhao Yang, Jiang Wang felt a bitterness like he'd swallowed gall. So, it wasn't that Du Qingyu didn't know how to love someone. She just didn't love him. When Du Qingyu returned, Jiang Wang still hadn't finished packing his clothes. She couldn't stand watching any longer, pushed him aside, and bent down to pack them herself. Useless. Just this small pile, and look at you, taking forever and still not done. Anyone watching would think you were on your deathbed, without even this much strength. Jiang Wang suddenly felt an urge to tease her. That's right, I am dying. So what? If I died, would you regret treating me like this while I was alive? Du Qingyu froze for a second. When she looked up again, her face was full of mockery. Regret? You wish. If you died, I'd set off firecrackers for 3 days and 3 nights and invite the entire Jiangsheng to feast and drink. Jiang Wang laughed until tears streamed down his face, clutching his lower abdomen. Du Qingyu, you really have a venomous tongue. And after we've slept together, Jiang Wang didn't linger. He could clearly feel his body had reached its limit. After returning to Jiangsheng, he spent another week bedridden. After each radiotherapy session, his hair fell out at a visible rate. When Du Qingyu called to hurry him about the last 2 tasks, he hid in the bathroom, staring silently at his reflection in the mirror all afternoon. Later, fully disguised, he went to the mall and bought a wig. Did you cut your hair? Jiang Wang didn't answer, getting straight into her car. Let's go. Du Qingyu frowned, subconsciously reaching out to touch Jiang Wang's wig, but he quickly dodged away. We're in a hurry. Are you coming or not? Du Qingyu got into the car. Just a friendly reminder, there are less than 7 days left in the cooling-off period. You need to hurry up and think of the last 2 tasks. Jiang Wang didn't answer, his gaze fixed on the scenery outside the window. Before, he had been too busy being angry with Du Qingyu, busy trying to make her notice him, that he'd overlooked so much of Jiangqing's beauty. He had thought that if he just reached the same heights as Du Qingyu, they could stand hand in hand and admire the same view. But the truth was, even standing side by side with someone she didn't love, she would look right through them. Yet for the one she loved, she was willing to bend her proud back. The 4th task Jiang Wang requested was for Du Qingyu to accompany him to an amusement park. How childish. Du Qingyu glanced at him with disdain. Jiang Wang lowered his gaze. He had seen Du Qingyu go to the amusement park with Zhao Yang, patiently taking countless photos with him there. It wasn't that he wanted to compete with Zhao Yang. Rather, going to the amusement park with Du Qingyu had been a childhood wish of his. This fourth request was about making little Jiang Wang's dream come true. Although Du Qingyu was physically beside Jiang Wang, her mind had long since drifted elsewhere. Her eyes were glued to her phone. When Jiang Wang asked her to take a picture, he had to call her name 4 or 5 times before she'd finally tear her gaze from the screen to look at him. As night fell, Du Qingyu urged him to leave 3 times, but he ignored her completely, until the Ferris wheel nearby lit up. "Ride this with me, and then we'll go." Seeing the faint light in Jiang Wang's eyes, Du Qingyu froze. After a moment, she pressed her lips together and spoke. "Jiang Wang, even if we reach the very top of the Ferris wheel, I won't fall in love with you." Time ticked away. Jiang Wang's eyes stung, and he quickly turned his head away. "What are you thinking? I've just never ridden one before." A phone call broke the silence. On the other end, Zhao Yiyang hurriedly said something. What? Jiang Wang couldn't tell. After hanging up, Du Qingyu was anxious to leave again. But this time, she didn't even offer a single word of apology. When the Ferris wheel reached its highest point, Jiang Wang looked down at the myriad lights of the city below. Tears splashed onto the floor of the cabin. He spoke softly. "Happy birthday, Jiang Wang." After that day, Jiang Wang was rushed to the hospital with a high fever, needing emergency treatment. The beeping of machines beside him seemed to fall on deaf ears. In his delirium, he thought he saw Du Qingyu come to visit him. Seeing his half-dead state, her eyes held not a shred of pity. Du Qingyu curled her lips and laughed mockingly at him. "Serves you right. What goes around comes around. You should just hurry up and die. Then I wouldn't have to do that incredibly boring last request of yours." In the dream, Jiang Wang gritted his teeth in anger, but his heart felt like it had been soaked in lemon juice for days, sour and aching. He forced his eyes open, clinging to his last breath. But the person he longed to see wasn't there. "Thank God, you're finally awake. Do you know how long you were out?" Jiang Wang had always been proud, and her social circle was particularly obsessed with fame and fortune. The Jiang family had fallen from grace, and Du Qingyu had always been at odds with him. Everyone knew that with the Jiang family's downfall, Du Qingyu would be the first one to come gloat. So, they had all quickly chosen sides and drawn a clear line between themselves and him. The only person Jiang Wang could really talk to now was this doctor friend who had been looking after him, Lu Zhizhou. Hearing this, Jiang Wang looked at him in alarm. "What's the date today?" When Lu Zhizhou heard the question, he thought Jiang Wang was again distressed about how little time he had left. He hid his own emotions and began to gently console him. "It's the 28th. I'll Wang you. Where's my wig?" Jiang Wang cut him off. Lu Zhizhou paused, taken aback. "It's here. I put it away for you." Jiang Wang curled his fingers slightly as he took the wig from him. His eyelids were lowered, making his thoughts impossible to guess. "Zhou, while I was unconscious, did anyone come to see me?" He asked casually, but his fingers tightened around the wig. Lu Zhizhou didn't call him out on his pretense, but he didn't want to lie to Jiang Wang either. "Wang, Du Qingyu didn't come." After saying this, Lu Zhizhou quickly turned away, blinking back tears from his reddened eyes. Not only did she not come, she wouldn't even listen to his calls or take his hints. Unconscious? What kind of joke is that? Anyone could be unconscious, but not Jiang Wang. "I'm very busy. I don't have time for his games. Apart from that last request, I won't agree to anything else. Tell him to save it and stop bothering me for no reason." Jiang Wang called Du Qingyu. After she hung up on him 3 times in a row, his patience wore thin. He sent her a text message. Sure enough, less than 2 minutes later, his phone rang with her calling back. But Du Qingyu's voice was thick with exhaustion. "Yang is sick. I need to stay with him. Let's postpone the last thing for a couple of days." She was about to hang up again. Jiang Wang quickly shouted into the phone, "No." As soon as the word left his mouth, Du Qingyu scoffed at him. "It's only 2 days. It's not like I'm breaking our agreement." Jiang Wang, know when to stop. A pang hit Jiang Wang's chest, and he had to swallow hard against the bitterness rising in his throat. He forced a casual tone, laughing despite the pain racking his body. "Du Qingyu, it's just the last thing. Finish it, and you're free. Unless, are you having second thoughts? Want to continue being husband and wife? That's fine by me. I have no problem with it." Du Qingyu never could stand him using words like that to provoke her. Seeing his tactic work like a charm yet again, Jiang Wang clutched his phone and roared with laughter after she hung up. He laughed until tears streamed down his cheeks and into his mouth, the bitter taste like a knife twisting relentlessly in his heart. The walk downstairs should have taken 5 minutes, but it took Jiang Wang nearly 20 before he finally stood in front of Du Qingyu. "Took you long enough," she snapped, her face etched with impatience. "It's the last thing. Hurry up and say it." Seeing her obvious annoyance, Jiang Wang didn't rush. He got in her passenger seat and carefully fastened his seatbelt. Only after doing all this did he turn his gaze to Du Qingyu. It's simple. Make me lunch. Du Qingyu stared at him, incredulous. Just lunch. Jiang Wang nodded. Just lunch. Du Qingyu's suspicious gaze swept over him again and again. For the previous 4 tasks, Jiang Wang had been nothing but demanding and difficult. For this final task, she had expected him to ask for something impossibly hard, like asking for the moon itself. Yet, unbelievably, all Jiang Wang wanted was a lunch cooked by her. She glanced at the time, then took out her phone and sent a few messages. Afterward, she drove to the supermarket. This was the first time Jiang Wang had ever gone grocery shopping with Du Qingyu. It was also the first time the two of them had acted like an ordinary married couple. Jiang Wang pushed the shopping cart while Du Qingyu stood nearby, telling him what to buy. As they were checking out, a child ran wildly past and was about to crash into her. Jiang Wang instinctively pulled her behind him. At that moment, her hand clamped down tightly on his. Jiang Wang looked down at their intertwined hands, his eyes misting over again. This was the second time Du Qingyu had willingly taken his hand. But before he could even register the searing warmth of her palm, she abruptly let go. He followed Du Qingyu back to their marital home. The apartment held few memories for them. Forced into marrying him, Du Qingyu had rebelled against him in every conceivable way after the wedding. Her 99 affairs were merely the tip of the iceberg. After changing her shoes, Du Qingyu went straight into the kitchen. The composure Jiang Wang had been desperately maintaining finally shattered the moment she turned away. He slumped to the floor. By the time she came out again, he had put his mask back on, looking calmly at the meal Du Qingyu had prepared for him. He had known she could cook. He was astonished that this proud, pampered woman would actually learn to cook for a man. Du Qingyu must truly love Zhao Yang. So many dishes. Jiang Wang frowned, watching her bring out plate after plate. Can the two of us even finish all this? Given his current physical condition, there was no way he could eat so much. He worried that even a few extra bites would give him away. Du Qingyu set down the last plate, her expression perfectly calm. Who said it's just the two of us? Jiang Wang stared at her, stunned. Before he could react, the doorbell rang. The next second, Du Qingyu put on a smile and went to open the door. Qingyu, am I late? It's all those students today, pestering me with questions. Zhao Yang, with practiced ease, pulled a pair of men's slippers from the shoe cabinet. Jiang Wang remembered those slippers. He bought them not long ago, but he'd moved out before he ever got the chance to wear them. Seeing Zhao Yang's familiarity with his home now, a tremor ran through him. Not late at all, just in time. Go wash your hands and let's eat. Du Qingyu's gentle voice stung Jiang Wang's ears. Zhao Yang smiled at her, then walked to the dining table. Mr. Jiang, sorry I'm late. Jiang Wang didn't reply. Zhao Yang hadn't expected one anyway and headed straight for his seat. Qingyu, you're the best, even getting my bowl and chopsticks ready. I know you're a neat freak, so I washed them several times, waiting for your inspection. So, what reward do you want? Zhao Yang reached out and pinched her cheek. I want you to eat well. Teaching has been so tiring lately, and you just got over a serious illness. You've gotten so thin. Jiang Wang silently watched the two of them, bantering back and forth. His heart, long dead, seemed to ache anew. He couldn't stop himself from interrupting them. Du Qingyu, is this the last thing you promised to do for me? Every word was sharp, laced with barbs. Only when Du Qingyu looked up did she notice. When had Jiang Wang gotten so thin? Guilt flickered across her face, but she still chose to reply defensively. I made so much you can't possibly eat it all. Yang was sick recently. I was taking care of him at the hospital. You're the one who insisted I do this last thing now. I couldn't just abandon him. Zhao Yang sat opposite him, the smugness in his eyes mocking Jiang Wang's foolishness. Suddenly, Jiang Wang felt tired. All his strength drained away. The last bit of resolve he'd been holding on felt like it had been punched out of him. He was overcome with grief. It wasn't just his heart that hurt. Every bone in his body radiated an intense ache. His head hung low, his figure withered. The next moment, he forced himself to stand up, but his eyes remained fixed on the floor. Du Qingyu, I never should have expected anything from you. His words were feather-light, like a needle dropping onto the floor, making almost no sound. Seeing him about to leave, Du Qingyu shifted slightly, as if to move. But in the next instant, Zhao Yang beside her moved faster. He reached out to grab Jiang Wang, but unexpectedly pulled off his wig. For a moment, he froze. Du Qingyu gasped sharply. Jiang Wang, your hair. Jiang Wang, his back still to her, felt his hand start to shake uncontrollably. His mind went blank. Zhao Ying's action felt like it had ripped away his last shred of dignity. Just as he struggled for an explanation, tempted to just give up and tell Du Qingyu everything, Zhao Ying picked up the wig from the floor. His expression turned serious, his tone accusatory as he spoke to Jiang Wang. Mr. Jiang, I never imagined you'd go so far as to shave your head just to keep Qingyu. After these 5 requests, don't tell me you're going to threaten Qingyu by saying you'll renounce everything and become a monk? Du Qingyu quickly masked the surprise in her eyes and glared furiously at Jiang Wang. She strode forward, snatched the wig from Zhao Ying's hand, tore it furiously, and then tossed it into the trash can like garbage. Jiang Wang, have you no shame? Threatening me with this? She spat. Do you think I'd be scared? Let me tell you right now, even if you said you were going to drop dead this very second, Du Qingyu, would sever ties with you completely before you died. Jiang Wang's eyes were vacant, his entire being radiating utter despair. Du Qingyu, do you really hate me this much? Du Qingyu's eyes remained locked on him. Beside her, a large hand slipped into hers. She lowered her gaze, finding herself inexplicably unwilling to look at his grief-stricken face. Jiang Wang, it's been 3 years, she said coolly. Haven't you figured it out yet? Yes, 3 years. For 3 long years, he had clutched onto this block of ice. She never noticed how meticulously clean he kept their home. She never cared who laid out her perfectly coordinated outfits each morning. They had been husband and wife for 3 years, yet she moved through their home like a guest. Only he remained, clinging to a semblance of happiness pieced together from illusions. Suddenly, Jiang Wang laughed, his former calm returning. Tomorrow, 9 a.m., I'll wait for you at the Civil Affairs Bureau. He bent down, retrieved the wig from the trash, turned, and walked out of their home. Watching his thin back retreat, Du Qingyu felt an odd pang in her chest. Before she could process it, her feet were already moving, following him. Qingyu. Zhao Ying grabbed her arm from behind, disbelief flickering in his eyes. Where are you going? Du Qingyu snapped back to reality, her brow furrowed deeply. I'm going to check on him. Why shave his head out of the blue? I might not know others, but Jiang Wang? Don't I know him? He used to throw a fit if I accidentally pulled out even a single strand of his hair. Shaving his head so suddenly. It just doesn't feel right. Zhao Ying's expression instantly soured. Seeing she was determined to follow, he suddenly clutched his stomach and doubled over. Du Qingyu stopped short. Qingyu, go after Mr. Jiang. Zhao Ying urged, his face contorted in discomfort. Don't worry about me. Du Qingyu looked down at him. I'll take you to the hospital first. After leaving, Jiang Wang didn't get far before collapsing by the roadside. A kind passerby found him and sent him to the hospital. When he woke up, Lu Zhizhou was standing anxiously by his bed. Wang, are you feeling any better? Jiang Wang was in so much pain that even breathing felt faint. Oh, Ajo, could you please help me buy a ticket? You're in this state, and you still want to go somewhere. A faint smile touched Jiang Wang's deathly pale face. The weather in Jiangsheng is always so damp. I never had the time before. Now that I finally do, I want to travel around a bit. Lu Zhizhou sniffled sharply. Looking at Jiang Wang's increasingly sallow complexion, he couldn't bring himself to refuse. I'll go with you. Jiang Wang shook his head. He had already burdened Lu Zhizhou for so long. He knew his friend was terrified that if he died, there would be no one to even handle his body. You finally got things stable for yourself. I've troubled you more than enough already. I don't even know how I could possibly repay what I owe you. Tears instantly streamed down Lu Zhizhou's face. Hearing Jiang Wang's words, he slammed his fist onto the mattress. Who asked you to repay anything? Just focus on staying alive. Why should you let that despicable pair off so easily? Back then, Zhao Ying just took off, and Du Qingyu insisted on driving after him. That's how she got into the car accident. If you hadn't swallowed your pride, stayed by her side, cared for her, pretended to be Zhao Ying just to give her the courage to live, the Du family would have given up on her long ago. Why should you be the one to bear all this injustice? Who sees the pain you're going through? Ajo, Jiang Wang murmured, I've already let it go. The agreed-upon time had long since passed, but Du Qingyu was stalling, still not ready to leave. When Zhao Ying asked her for the 3rd time, she set down the glass of water she brought him. Oh, is it time already? Zhao Ying's brow furrowed as he watched the distracted Du Qingyu. Qingyu, what's wrong? Don't tell me you've changed your mind about divorcing Jiang Wang. Of course not. I just want to make him wait. I put up with 3 years of marriage to him. Now that we're finally divorcing, he's still making ridiculous demands. Let him cool his heels for a bit. Zhao Ying looked hesitant, but seeing her finally get up to leave, he relaxed. Du Qingyu sat in the car, delaying starting the engine. This divorce was something she'd supposedly longed for. She rubbed her temples, agitated. Just thinking about Jiang Wang's shaved head infuriated her. It wasn't that she hadn't tried contacting Jiang Wang since that day. But he ignored her calls, and her messages went unanswered, like stones dropped into the sea. Even the thought of apologizing got choked back by anger at his behavior. Du Qingyu turned the steering wheel and headed towards the Civil Affairs Bureau. She resolved that when she saw Jiang Wang, she'd grab him by the collar and demand to know what was up with that ridiculous shaved head. Could Zhao Yiyang possibly be right? Was he really planning to divorce her one minute and join a monastery the next? She knew Jiang Wang secretly loved her, but she never imagined he'd be crazy enough to use this to threaten her. Soon, the car pulled up to the Civil Affairs Bureau. But Jiang Wang, who should have been there already, was nowhere in sight. Du Qingyu waited, dumbfounded, until the bureau staff clocked out. Night began to fall, but Jiang Wang never showed up. Staring at the emptying street corner, she scoffed bitterly and slammed her hands hard on the steering wheel. Jiang Wang, you really pulled one over on me. Meanwhile, inside a hospital, doctors and nurses rushed Jiang Wang on a gurney towards the operating room. Lu Zhizhou, face etched with panic, clung tightly to his hand. Wang, I've already bought the tickets. We can go wherever you want, whenever you want. You have to hold on. You have to make it. You said you still had so much left to do, so many places you haven't seen. Wake up. I'll quit my job. I'll go with you, okay? Please, just wake up. Lu Zhizhou choked back sobs, but the man on the gurney, eyes tightly shut, remained unresponsive. Zhizhou, where's his family? We need a family member to sign the consent forms. Lu Zhizhou looked up blankly, fresh tears streaming down his face. I'll call right now. His hands trembled, making it hard to even hold his phone steady. The phone rang and rang, unanswered. Answer the phone, damn it. Du Qingyu. In his desperation, he slammed a fist against the wall, dialing repeatedly. Finally, a busy signal. His face drained of all color. Du Qingyu had blocked Jiang Wang's number. His hand clenched the phone, eyes filled with utter despair. Du Qingyu, you will regret this. Meanwhile, Du Qingyu sat on her sofa, her phone resting on the coffee table before her. She watched Jiang Wang's number light up the screen, call after call, but remained utterly unmoved. Her gaze was indifferent as she swirled a stemmed glass in one hand. With the other, she picked up the phone and decisively blocked Jiang Wang's number. Jiang Wang had stood her up, leaving her waiting like a fool for hours. That whole bullshit about 5 tasks before granting her freedom. She knew he was a chronic liar. She never should have trusted him. To think she'd wasted so much time playing his stupid games, imagining his arrogant face, probably hiding somewhere this very moment, laughing at her expense. It made her teeth ache with fury. He was probably calling just to gloat, to mock her. Du Qingyu's eyes blazed with fury. She snatched up the phone and hurled it violently against the floor. When Zhao Yiyang arrived, he was met with the sight of Du Qingyu's furious expression. His heart skipped a beat. Qingyu, did something happen? He asked cautiously, studying her face. Jiang Wang didn't come. The smile on Zhao Yiyang's face instantly froze. No wonder. Du Qingyu lowered her eyes. No wonder what? Zhao Yiyang pursed his lips, feigning reluctance. Qingyu, I didn't really want to say anything about you and him, but Jiang Wang has truly gone too far this time. A vein throbbed in Du Qingyu's temple. Zhao Yiyang continued. Did you know? I just heard from a friend that he found someone, God knows where, to put on an act with him, claiming he was sick and needed surgery. They kept calling you to sign the consent forms. He added, by the way, Qingyu, did you get those calls? Du Qingyu didn't answer him. Instead, her gaze fell upon the phone lying shattered on the floor, where she'd thrown it earlier. Zhao Yiyang followed her line of sight. So it was true. He then put on a sorrowful expression. Qingyu, I don't understand why Jiang Wang enjoys tricking you like this. Maybe he genuinely doesn't want to divorce you. Jiang Wang, could he actually like you? He pressed on. And you? You two were married for 3 years, after all. Could it be that you also? Du Qingyu clenched her fists, then suddenly threw her arms around Zhao Yiyang. Without a word, she stood on her tiptoes and pressed her lips against his. A trail of silver glistened between their lips as they parted from the passionate kiss. Du Qingyu melted against his chest, weak-kneed. Qingyu, I love you, Zhao Yiyang whispered. If you feel the same way I do, I'm willing to be the other man, hiding in the shadows for you. Du Qingyu's eyes widened slightly, then softened as she looked at Zhao Yiyang with deep affection. Yiyang, I won't let you be the other man. You will be my rightful husband. After Zhao Yiyang left, Du Qingyu couldn't remain seated. Pacing restlessly, she immediately used her work phone to summon her assistant to her home. Starting today, she commanded, any project the Jiang family is interested in, I want you to pursue it aggressively. Spare no expense or effort. Secure it for us. She continued, her voice hard, and contact all of their long-term partners. Let them know, loud and clear, it's the Du family or the Jiang family. Let's see who they choose. Since the Jiangs threw away the respect we showed them, there's no need for courtesy anymore. The assistant, standing by stunned, finally couldn't help but interrupt. But, Ms. Du, the Jiang Corporation already declared bankruptcy and went into liquidation this morning. And old Master Jiang was cremated just recently. What? Du Qingyu froze on the spot. How could she not know? Seeing her blank expression, the assistant explained helplessly. You gave the orders, ma'am. No one in the company is allowed to mention the Jiang family, and we're to ignore all their affairs. Besides, this was huge news. Her own husband's father had passed away. Who would have thought Du Qingyu truly had no idea? After the assistant left, Du Qingyu sat on the sofa for a long time before recovering. Because she despised Jiang Wang and his family. Even though they'd been married for 3 years, she forbade him from setting foot in her company and prevented any business dealings between the Jiang and Du family industries through nepotism. Jiang Wang had watched her give the order to her assistant himself. Afterward, he'd mocked her with a nonchalant expression. Du Qingyu, don't speak too soon. Maybe one day you'll be on your knees begging me to use your connections. Thinking of this, Du Qingyu's eyes filled with complex emotions. She truly didn't like Jiang Wang or his family. But for something so significant to happen to the Jiang family, and for Jiang Wang to keep it from her without a word, could it be? Was he trying to make outsiders condemn her as cruel? Heartless. If that was his plan, Jiang Wang had seriously miscalculated. Her expression darkened as she picked up her phone and dialed Jiang Wang. The phone barely rang before someone answered. Without waiting for the person on the other end to speak, she launched into her accusations. Jiang Wang, you've really outdone yourself. Standing me up, making a fool of me? Is this fun for you? Is this amusing? I didn't want anything to do with your family's damn mess in the first place, but you didn't even tell me your father died? Are you deliberately trying to make the Du family a laughingstock? Let me tell you the truth. I found that diary you keep locked in the cabinet long ago. I know you like me, but I don't like you. Not only do I dislike you, I find you disgusting. I despise you, and I despise everyone in your Jiang family. Breaking your promise doesn't matter. The lawsuit is just a bit more trouble. If you want to play games, Du Qingyu, will play along to the very end. Let's see what backbone you have left to challenge me now that the Jiang family is gone. As her words fell, the other end remained eerily silent. It seemed there wasn't even the sound of breathing. Du Qingyu frowned, about to speak again. The call was abruptly disconnected. She froze for a moment. When she angrily redialed, she found Jiang Wang's phone was turned off. Fury surged through her. She immediately wanted to have someone track Jiang Wang's location. She thought he needed to be taught a lesson. Before, when he acted like this, Du Qingyu could always string him along in bed. But now, Du Qingyu suddenly paused. What was she thinking? The method of torment she'd thought of was actually dragging Jiang Wang to bed? Du Qingyu felt like Jiang Wang had driven her mad with anger. So, when Zhao Yang approached her, she readily agreed to accompany him abroad to an art exhibition. The attendees were all socialites and prominent figures from home and abroad. Seeing that the man accompanying Du Qingyu wasn't Jiang Wang, they exchanged knowing glances. Who didn't know? Everyone was aware. Du Qingyu and Jiang Wang were a pair of resentful spouses. Now that the Jiang family had fallen, and the Du family hadn't lifted a finger to help, it was obvious they despised Jiang Wang and his family. Perceptive people had already cautiously approached Zhao Yang to curry favor. Mr. Zhao, you and So do look like a perfect couple standing together. Yes. I heard you and CEO do used to be a couple. If the Jiang family hadn't interfered, you'd surely be her husband now. A slight smile touched Zhao Yang's lips, unable to contain his inner joy. It's all Jiang Wang's fault. I heard the Jiang family initially wanted him to marry that woman from abroad. Who knew he'd stubbornly refuse and insist on marrying So Du instead? Really? Wasn't he always at odds with CEO Du? The topic suddenly shifted, and engrossed in their gossip, they left Zhao Yang standing aside. Hearing this, Zhao Yang's expression instantly darkened. Annoyed, he turned to leave. Just as he turned, he found Du Qingyu standing right behind him. He had no idea how long she'd been standing there or when she'd arrived. The group noticed too, laughing awkwardly. CEO Du, Mr. Zhao, Please continue browsing. We'll just go look over there. They nudged each other and hurried away. But Du Qingyu remained rooted to the spot. Zhao Yiyang forced a smile and stepped forward to take her hand. When did you get here? Why didn't you call me? Du Qingyu's expression was calm, seemingly unaffected. Just arrived. I was about to call you when you turned around. Did I interrupt something? No, they were just talking nonsense. Let's walk further ahead, shall we? I hear there's a major piece being exhibited today. Du Qingyu nodded, letting Zhao Yiyang pull her hand tightly as they walked forward. But her mind was filled with what the group had just said. So, the Jiang family hadn't initially wanted to arrange a marriage with the Du family. This marriage between her and Jiang Wang. He had actually asked for it. Why would Jiang Wang do that? Could it be he hadn't fallen in love with her after they got married? Du Qingyu felt that familiar knot of anxiety tightening again. It was an unsettling feeling, vague and hard to define. Ever since she decided to actually divorce Jiang Wang, this mood hadn't left her. Suddenly, she lost all interest in the art exhibition and was about to step outside for some air when Zhao Yiyang, his face alight with admiration, pulled her over to a painting. This artist is also from our country, but he's never shown his face in all these years. Qingyu, can you help me find him? Du Qingyu frowned slightly. Find him? What? I want him to take me as a student. Everyone in our circle guesses he's a man, probably quite old by now. If I could become his disciple, my reputation would soar. Du Qingyu paused. So, it was about fame, not a genuine desire to learn. Still, she nodded at Zhao Yang. Beaming, Zhao Yiyang wrapped an arm around her waist. Not far away, several staff members carefully carried a covered painting over. Seeing this, the crowd gathered around. Zhao Yiyang's eyes widened, and he pulled her forward too. The painting was draped in black cloth. The faces of the nearby staff were unexpectedly somber. The curator lowered his gaze, his expression unreadable. It is with great regret that I must inform you all, the curator announced, his voice heavy, that this will be Wang Yu's final work, completed before his passing. A collective gasp went through the crowd, eyes wide with shock. Before his passing? He died, and this is his last piece? His works will probably skyrocket in value now, maybe thousands of times. The curator didn't answer, his eyes filled with pain. He turned and slowly, carefully lifted the cloth. Another wave of astonished murmurs swept through the onlookers. The final painting depicted the back of a woman. Silhouetted against the sunset, her figure was elongated, sitting in a garden with a cat, enjoying afternoon tea. Just as everyone was marveling at Wang Yu's skill, Zhao Yiyang noticed something unusual about the woman beside him. Qingyu? Qingyu, what's wrong? Du Qingyu's body was trembling uncontrollably. Her eyes were wide, fixed on the wrist of the figure in the painting. That red string bracelet. It was painfully familiar. Her throat felt dry and itchy. Forcing her expression to remain neutral, she looked up at Zhao Yang. Yang, I'm suddenly hungry. I want that pork rib soup you made for me when I was hospitalized after my car accident. Zhao Yang paused for a second, then smiled naturally at her. All right, but it's been years since I last made it. You can't complain if it tastes bad. He turned back, his attention fully absorbed by the famous painting once more, though the smile on his face seemed a bit stiff. Du Qingyu's clenched fists trembled. Back then, she hadn't drunk any pork rib soup. Zhao Yiyang wasn't the one who had taken care of her. Then who was? She hardly dared to look up, afraid of the answer that seemed determined to surface. Now that the truth was being unveiled, she feared hearing it. After dropping Zhao Yiyang back at his place, Du Qingyu rushed back to the art gallery. She pushed open the door to the curator's office. Where is the artist of that painting? I need to see him. The curator, momentarily stunned, realized who she meant. He let out a long sigh. I'm sorry, Miss Du, but Wang Yu has already passed away. Du Qingyu scoffed. Impossible. Wang Yu. His surname is Jiang, isn't it? The curator's eyes flew open in shock. Seeing his reaction, Du Qingyu knew her suspicion was correct, but there was still so much she didn't understand. Her brow furrowed tightly. I have questions for him. Arrange for me to meet him. The curator looked surprised. Since you know him, Miss Du, why don't you contact him yourself? Du Qingyu pressed her lips together. How could she explain? That she couldn't reach Jiang Wang anymore? Or that Jiang Wang had blocked her number? The curator gave her an address and a phone number. Without hesitation, she booked a flight back home, making up a random excuse to leave Zhao Yiyang behind abroad. She had a stomach full of questions for Jiang Wang. She remembered stumbling into Jiang Wang's studio once. At the time, she hadn't cared. Worse, she'd looked down on him, thinking he was just clumsily imitating others, following whatever trend was popular. She'd stood at the doorway, making cold, sarcastic remarks, telling him his paintings couldn't compare to Zhao Yang's. He had immediately shot back. If you can't see straight, get your eyes checked. When the name Wang Yu had been mentioned, Du Qingyu instinctively felt it had to be Jiang Wang. The red string in the painting. It was from when she was blind after the car accident. Zhao Yang had personally prayed for her recovery, bowing with every step up the mountain to get it for her. Unfortunately, she had later broken it. She'd always believed the string broke because she was being forced to marry Jiang Wang. She couldn't choose the person she loved. She felt like a trapped animal, unable to escape her circumstances. Jiang Wang, oblivious, had foolishly gone back up the mountain and begged for an identical one. Consumed by resentment, she had cut the new red string to pieces right in front of him. She could never forget the look Jiang Wang had given her back then. She admitted to herself she might have gone too far, but the thought of apologizing to him was beneath her. When Du Qingyu arrived at the address on the note, she had expected Jiang Wang to open the door. She even had her sarcastic remarks prepared. What exactly was Jiang Wang playing at, going to all this trouble? Could it be just to avoid divorcing her? To win her back? Just as the thought crossed her mind, the door opened. Jiang, seeing the person standing before her, she froze instantly. Who are you? Lu Zhizhou regarded Du Qingyu with calm eyes, still as a stagnant pond, without a ripple of emotion. Who are you looking for? She glanced inside uncertainly. Seeing he appeared to be alone, she frowned. Sorry, I must have the wrong place. Seeing her about to leave, Lu Zhizhou suddenly stopped her. Are you looking for Jiang Wang? The words had barely left his lips when Du Qingyu's feet felt rooted to the spot. You know him? Lu Zhizhou didn't answer. Du Qingyu studied the man before her carefully. He lived in a neighborhood where property values weren't high, and the furnishings inside were typical of an ordinary household. How could such a common man know Jiang Wang? Du Qingyu averted her gaze and spoke politely. Apologies. Jiang Wang is my husband. I need to see him about something. Do you know where he is now? Husband. Lu Zhizhou seized on the word. For some reason, Du Qingyu felt the man's gaze wasn't exactly friendly. Just as she thought, anyone who could hang out with Jiang Wang wasn't exactly normal. Lu Zhizhou chuckled lightly. If Wang is your husband, why don't you just call him? That question again. Du Qingyu felt slightly offended. This man clearly had no idea how strained her relationship with Jiang Wang was, or he wouldn't have asked. Given their usual way of bickering, going 10 days or even half a month without contact was commonplace. Her patience suddenly evaporated. If you see him, please tell him I'll be waiting for him at home. With that, she turned to leave again. Seeing her go, Lu Zhizhou suddenly shoved the door wide open. The sound of the door slamming against the wall startled Du Qingyu. Miss Du, you don't need to wait. Wang isn't in Jiangcheng. Du Qingyu looked at him, stunned. Where did he go? Lu Zhizhou's eyes remained fixed on her. He then turned, went back inside, and returned with a letter. I don't know. He didn't tell me when he left. This is a letter he left behind. I haven't opened it. Perhaps there's news of him inside. A letter. Du Qingyu took it, bewildered. Who even wrote letters these days? Du Qingyu looked down at the letter in her hand. Just as she was about to apologize, she heard a dull thud as Lu Zhizhou shut the door. Du Qingyu scoffed. Jiang Wang, what kind of friends do you even have? With that, Du Qingyu left the residential complex, letter in hand. She didn't notice a pair of eyes on a 6th-floor balcony, staring unblinkingly in the direction she had gone. Back in her car, Du Qingyu eagerly tore open Jiang Wang's letter, expecting some crucial information, like about the red string, or what he meant by breaking his promise, standing her up, and then disappearing. She opened the letter filled with questions, but reading it over and over, she found herself laughing out of sheer anger at Jiang Wang. It wasn't so much a letter as a travel brochure recommendation. It went on and on about how beautiful the mountains and scenery of Linqing were, how clear the water was, how it was a natural oxygen bar that could heal a body and mind worn out by her anger. Feeling like she'd been made a fool of yet again, she angrily crumpled the letter into a ball and threw it onto the passenger seat. She slammed her foot on the accelerator and drove home. Yet before getting out of the car, as if possessed, she picked the crumpled letter back up. As if spellbound, she had her assistant book a flight to Linqing. Coming to her senses later, she rationalized it to herself. This was just about getting the divorce. Jiang Wang had strung her along for a month with those 5 tasks, tormenting her. Making him sign the divorce papers in person was the least he owed her. On the way to Linqing, Du Qingyu surprisingly slept well on the plane. Before leaving, she had packed Jiang Wang's letter and the divorce agreement she'd stayed up printing in her bag. She needed to see Jiang Wang sign those divorce papers with her own eyes. Du Qingyu wasn't searching aimlessly. Jiang Wang's letter had detailed everything he planned to do after arriving in Lin City. The activities, the meals he wanted to eat, the sights he wanted to see, and even a few ghost houses he'd shortlisted. Du Qingyu went from one to the next, finally finding the guest house where Jiang Wang had stayed. She knew it was the right one because there was a large confession wall set up by the entrance, and she saw Jiang Wang's name written on it. A smile touched her lips as she entered the guest house. The thought of Jiang Wang's shocked expression when she finally caught him made her almost giddy with anticipation. Mr. Jiang? Yes, he stayed here. But he's already left. Left? It felt like a blow to her chest, and her ears rang for a moment. She had traveled all this way to find him, only for him to have already gone? Yes, he left. Miss, here is your room key. Please take it. Staring at the key card offered to her, Du Qingyu's brow furrowed, but she accepted it. Since she was already here, and with nothing better to do, Du Qingyu decided to visit the places Jiang Wang had mentioned in his letter. It felt like she was following a travel itinerary someone had forced on her. She walked down the same alleys he had, ate the rice noodles he'd wanted to try, and took a boat trip to admire the river scenery and the layers of overlapping mountain peaks. Gradually, her agitated heart began to calm. Returning to the guest house that evening, she watched a group at the opposite table laughing and chatting boisterously. Her own corner suddenly felt rather desolate. Somehow, she found herself reminiscing about the days she and Jiang Wang used to bicker and argue. The owner came over and gave her a bottle of cola, smiling as he spoke. "You're remarkably similar to that gentleman." Du Qingyu let out a dry laugh. Her and Jiang Wang, similar? Seeing her disbelief, the owner quickly explained, "That gentleman, back then, he was just like you, sitting here all alone, silent, looking deeply unhappy about something. I told him the confession wall by my entrance works wonders. Just write your name and the name of the person you like, and before long, you'll end up together." Du Qingyu's interest was piqued. "Did he write anything?" The owner raised his eyebrows. He did, except he only wrote his own name. He said, the person he loves told him she would never, ever fall in love with him." Something slammed hard into Du Qingyu's heart, a dull, indescribable ache. She didn't know why, but she felt a pang of sympathy for the Jiang Wang the owner described. Belatedly, she cursed herself inwardly. Was she going mad? Early the next morning, Du Qingyu checked out and returned to Jiang City. Lu Zhizhou showed no surprise when she appeared at his door again. Without a word, he handed her another letter. Seeing the rigid expression on Du Qingyu's face, he sighed helplessly. "I only just received this myself. I don't have your phone number and didn't know where you live, so I could only wait for you to come find me." Hearing this, Du Qingyu immediately asked him to add her contact information. But just as she pulled out her phone, a call came in from Zhao Yang. She failed to notice Lu Zhizhou's expression instantly turned cold. She lowered her phone slightly, frowned, and answered, "Qingyu, I'm sick. Can you come and keep me company?" Du Qingyu paused, as if considering. "Where are you?" Zhao Yang gave her the address. After Du Qingyu hung up, she turned back to add Lu Zhizhou's contact, only to find he had already put his phone away. This time, an undisguised, mocking smile played on his lips. "CEO Du, since you're clearly so busy, why bother looking for Awang? Your first love is calling for you. Shouldn't you hurry back to the hospital?" With that, he started to close the door. Du Qingyu quickly thrust her hand out to stop it. Lu Zhizhou hadn't held back, and the door pinched her hand hard, but she didn't make sound. "You haven't given me your contact info yet." Lu Zhizhou looked into her eyes for a moment, then took out his phone again and added her contact details. After leaving Lu Zhizhou's apartment, Du Qingyu drove straight to the hospital. She needed to confront Zhao Yang face-to-face to confirm if he had truly stayed by her side when she was critically injured after the car accident all those years ago. Zhao Yang had been preparing for her arrival for a long time. Yet, the moment she entered the room, she didn't even spare him a glance before launching into her questions. He forced himself to appear calm. "Qingyu, I never thought you'd doubt me. If it wasn't me back then, who else could it have been? You couldn't see, but you could hear, couldn't you? Didn't you say so yourself? That was my voice. Is it even possible for someone else to fake my voice while taking care of you? Wouldn't someone doing that be incredibly foolish? What would be the point? Or perhaps, Qingyu, who do you wish it had been? Jiang Wang." Du Qingyu gazed at him, her expression complex. "Sorry, Yang. I was overthinking things." Zhao Yang pulled her into an embrace, his eyes glinting with smug triumph. There really are such fools in this world, he thought. Jiang Wang, no matter how much effort you put in, Du Qingyu still ended up right back in my hands, didn't she? Du Qingyu took care of Zhao Yang all night, but still rushed to the airport early the next morning. She'd thought about it all night and decided she still had to go confront Jiang Wang. Was it fun, playing her for a fool? After landing, she arrived in Yincheng, the second city Jiang Wang mentioned in his letters. This letter, like the last, specified a guest house location. But when Du Qingyu learned from the guest house owner that Jiang Wang had already checked out, she was furious, wanted to rush over and curse him out. She even suspected Jiang Wang had conspired with his friend to mess with her deliberately. Furious, she called Lu Zhizhou. Lu Zhizhou was assisting in surgery and didn't pick up. Du Qingyu could only swallow her anger and call her assistant, telling her to find information on Jiang Wang. She couldn't fully trust these letters anymore. She sat in a rustic courtyard, feeling the gentle spring breeze, and soon calmed down. The air here was filled with soft whispers, and many people traveling together stood by the bridge, taking photos for social media. As she walked over, an old woman approached her. "Would you like me to take a picture for you?" Du Qingyu wasn't interested in taking photos, but she was drawn to a picture displayed there. "How much for this one? I'll buy it." The old woman looked at her as if she were crazy. "Sorry, dear, that's a customer's photo. It's not for sale," even though it was just a picture of someone's back. Du Qingyu generously transferred 1,000 yuan to the old woman and explained, "You misunderstand. That man is my husband. I came out here looking for him, but I didn't expect him to have already gone back." The old woman finally understood. "Oh, so he's your husband." She sighed. "AI, young lady, be good to that young man. He has a good heart." Du Qingyu didn't say much more, just clutched the photo tightly in her palm as she returned to the guest house. Late that night, she sat outside a pavilion, the photo of his back held between her fingers. Her mind drifted back to her first time with Jiang Wang. That was the day she had broken up with Zhao Yang. She'd drunk heavily outside, precisely because she didn't want to go back and see Jiang Wang's face. But unexpectedly, her friend had misunderstood and sent her home anyway. In the middle of the night, her stomach ached badly. Jiang Wang got out of bed to make her hangover soup. She was so drunk, she mistook his back for Zhao Yang's. By the time she realized her mistake, it had already happened. She could only go along with the mistake, deliberately calling out Zhao Yang's name. She felt Jiang Wang's body jolt and saw the hot tears spill from his eyes. He squeezed his eyes shut and thrust harder into her softness. Afterwards, Jiang Wang reverted to his prickling nature, mocking her coldly. "Du Qingyu, are you just going to lie there like a dead fish?" However deeply she hurt him, he was determined to pay her back in full, with interest. With a personality like that, even when Du Qingyu felt she'd gone too far, his anger would provoke her into retaliating even more fiercely. After returning to Jiangcheng, Du Qingyu was no longer in a hurry to find Lu Zhizhou. Instead, she waited for news from her assistant. Zhao Yang kept calling her. Previously, she would have been overjoyed, but now she only felt intense irritation. She lied, telling him she was away on business, when in reality, she was hiding in the marital home she shared with Jiang Wang. Until Lu Zhizhou called her. I received the third letter. Du Qingyu lowered her gaze, no longer eager to rush over as before. She paused for a moment. "I know. I'm in a meeting. I'll go get it when I'm done." Not long after she hung up, there was frantic knocking on her door. She frowned deeply, her heart filled with unease, as if something bad was about to happen, until she saw her assistant's panic-stricken face. Ms. Du, I found Mr. Jiang." Du Qingyu's brow twitched. "Where?" "The cemetery." The phone slipped from Du Qingyu's grasp. Her eyes flew wide open. "Is this some kind of sick joke? Did Jiang Wang put you up to this? Where's he? Take me to him now. I want to see just how he bribed you. How much did he pay you to lie like this just to cover for him?" The assistant didn't move. Instead, he handed a file to Du Qingyu. "Ms. Du, these are Mr. Zhang's medical records. He had liver cancer. The diagnosis came over a month ago." Du Qingyu staggered violently, nearly collapsing. Over a month ago? Wasn't that the day she cheated on him right in front of his face for the 99th time? That day, she'd watched him, eyes full of mockery as he was humiliated. She even had her lover put on Jiang Wang's pajamas, deliberately taunting him. "Well, doesn't he look better in them than you do? Jiang Wang, if I recall correctly, this makes 99 times, right? After all this, you still won't agree to a divorce." The memory rushed back like pages scattered by the wind, settling on that day. No wonder his complexion had been so terrible. No wonder he'd grown thinner and more sallow day by day. And she had laughed at him, humiliated him. A sharp pain pierced Du Qingyu's chest, making it hard to breathe. She never thought hearing Jiang Wang was dead would hurt this much. How could this be? Wasn't she supposed to be happy? Her fists clenched tighter and tighter. Just as the assistant was about to say more, she abruptly shoved him aside and bolted outside. She arrived outside Liu Zhizhou's building. Her intuition screamed that Liu Zhizhou knew something. How could Jiang Wang die? How could he possibly be dead? She knew. Liu Zhizhou was a doctor. He must have helped Jiang Wang forge the medical records. Jiang Wang just wanted to see her humiliated, to make a fool of her. She pounded frantically on Liu Zhizhou's door. After a moment, the door slowly opened. In stark contrast to her frantic anger, Liu Zhizhou appeared remarkably calm. She surged forward, grabbing him by the collar. Tell me, where is Jiang Wang? Where the hell is he? Are you hiding him? What kind of game are you two playing? How could Jiang Wang be dead? How could he possibly be dead? Liu Zhizhou remained calm. He calmly pushed her hands away. Then, just as calmly, he turned and took out a third letter. Seeing it, Du Qingyu snatched the letter, tore it viciously to shreds, and threw them on the ground. Enough. Just tell me one thing. Jiang Wang, is he sick? Liu Zhizhou watched her, unable to even utter the word dead. He suddenly found it almost laughable. No. Hearing this, Du Qingyu instantly snapped her gaze to him, her eyes filled with hope. But Liu Zhizhou's next words plunged her into an abyss. He's not sick. He's already dead. Dead, understand? Jiang Wang is dead. His hand slowly pointed to the scraps on the ground. Then he looked at Du Qingyu, his face etched with scorn. Aren't you going to look? Those are his last words to you. Du Qingyu's eyes followed his finger. The scattered pieces of paper stirred in the faint breeze, fragments of writing still faintly visible. Du Qingyu stumbled back 2 steps. Impossible. This isn't real. Someone like Jiang Wang. He's tougher than weeds. How could he possibly die? Liu Zhizhou's eyes were bloodshot, his fists clenched tightly. He bent down, gathering the pieces Du Qingyu had torn. Without a word, he walked over to Du Qingyu. He pressed them all into her hand. Take a good look. This time it's real. With that, he turned and left. Dazed, Du Qingyu stared down at the crumpled mess of paper in her hand. So much so that she hadn't truly registered Liu Zhizhou's words. This time it's real. What did he mean? When was it ever not real? She fled Liu Zhizhou's house in disarray. The shredded paper in her pocket felt like a hot potato, making her fidget uncomfortably even through the fabric. She emptied the scraps onto the table, but could only stare at them from afar, not daring to touch them. Her face was deathly pale, utterly devoid of color. Only when night fell did she slowly raise her numb hands and carefully begin to piece the scraps together. Hot tears welled in her eyes, accidentally splashing onto the paper. Du Qingyu frantically tried to wipe them away, but in the next moment, tears fell faster, nearly soaking the entire sheet. Du Qingyu could no longer contain her emotions and broke down, sobbing uncontrollably. On the white paper was Jiang Wang's unsteady scrawl. Du Qingyu, of the 5 things you promised me, you didn't fulfill a single one to my satisfaction. As punishment, no divorce, only widowhood. How about that? Going to curse me again? Too bad. You'll have to bring flowers to my grave to do it. If I had the choice, I wouldn't want to live this life again either. But thankfully, I'm checking out first. In the next life, I definitely won't have to run into you again. Du Qingyu hadn't left her house in 7 days. After that day, Liu Zhizhou came to her door. Seeing her haggard appearance, he gave her a set of keys, a faint smile playing on his lips. Go take a look, he said. Perhaps it will make your suffering even worse. Du Qingyu knew he was being deliberate, saw the malice glinting in his eyes, yet she still reached out and took the keys. Following the address Liu Zhizhou had given her, she arrived at Jiang Wang's secret hideaway. The moment she pushed the door open, the sight before her rooted her to the spot. The room was filled with paintings of all sizes, every single one depicting her. In the farthest corner lay photos of the 2 of them together, secretly taken by Jiang Wang while caring for her during her blindness. He hadn't even dared to show them to her. Her feet felt leaden, and her heart ached as if being gnawed by countless ants. Yet, her expression was one of utter helplessness. With trembling hands, she picked up the photos, her fingers repeatedly tracing Jiang Wang's face in them. Her breathing grew shallow and rapid, her lungs feeling fit to burst. What now? It seemed she had fallen in love with Jiang Wang. But now, she could never let him know. Empty bottles littered the floor, lying haphazardly, but Jiang Wang's paintings were carefully stacked to one side. Strands of hair fell across her eyes, her pale face a picture of misery. She went to the kitchen for more alcohol, only to find she'd finished it all. Stumbling back into the living room, she fumbled for her phone to call her assistant for another delivery. The doorbell rang moments later. Thinking it was her assistant with the delivery, she quickly opened the door. But the next second, a man burst in and swept her into a tight embrace, his arms locking around her waist. "Qingyu, why haven't you answered my calls? You didn't reply to my messages. You didn't open the door when I knocked. I was worried sick. I thought something happened to you." Zhao Yiyang blurted out, looking at her anxiously. Seeing Du Qingyu's still frosty expression, he pushed down his confusion and reached out tenderly, cupping her pallid cheek. "Qingyu, what's wrong? Are you feeling unwell? Let me take you to a doctor, okay?" He finished speaking and moved as if to lift her, but then, out of the corner of his eye, he spotted the stacked canvases on the sofa. He stopped dead in his tracks, his eyes widening in delighted surprise. "Wang Yu," he breathed. "Yes, this is his work." He rushed over excitedly, picking up a canvas. When he saw that the subject in all the paintings was Du Qingyu, his eyes widened dramatically. "Qingyu, you know Wang Yu? Why didn't you tell me sooner? I get it. It must be because of what I told you last time. You took it to heart and found him for me, didn't you? Qingyu, you're amazing. If he's still painting you, that proves he isn't dead. I knew it. He must have just wanted to retire from the scene, faking his death. Qingyu, I have to meet him. Take me to him, please." Du Qingyu looked down at Zhao Yiyang's hand, gripping hers tightly, and coldly pried it off. "He's already dead." "Dead? How is that possible?" At first glance, he thought Wang Yu had just painted these for Du Qingyu. But the further he flipped through them, the more he realized several of the paintings were clearly quite old. Du Qingyu didn't answer. After a long moment, she suddenly sneered. "Yang, the person by my side back then. Was it really you?" Zhao Yiyang froze. Staring into Du Qingyu's eyes, his heart hammered against his ribs, his fingers digging sharply into his palms. "Qingyu, why do you keep asking me this? Don't you believe me? What exactly are you doubting? Or, are you hoping it wasn't me? I know. Did Jiang Wang fill your head with lies again? That bastard. Not only did he scheme to steal you from me, but even now, he's still trying to drive a wedge between us." He raged, glancing at Du Qingyu from the corner of his eye as he spoke. He had expected her to rush over and comfort him immediately. Instead, she didn't take a single step toward him. Du Qingyu lowered her gaze, carefully rearranging the paintings he had disturbed, putting them back in their original places. Qingyu. Du Qingyu's movements seemed numb as she slowly turned her head to look at him. "Weren't you looking for Wang Yu? I'll take you." Zhao Yiyang felt a surge of relief. Thinking Du Qingyu believed him, he quickly followed. Du Qingyu didn't say a word the entire way. As the road grew increasingly desolate, Zhao Yiyang grew uneasy. "Qingyu, why would Wang Yu live somewhere so remote?" Du Qingyu stared straight ahead, not answering him. "Qingyu, how much longer?" Looking at this strangely distant Du Qingyu, Zhao Yiyang felt increasingly certain something was wrong. "We're here," she said flatly. Zhao Yiyang looked at the lone villa nearby, a sense of foreboding washing over him. As Du Qingyu moved to open the gate, he suddenly grabbed her hand. "Isn't it rude to drop in unannounced? Besides, I didn't bring a gift." "I brought some," Du Qingyu replied, her tone still flat. She then retrieved several bags, large and small, from the trunk. Seeing her preparations, Zhao Yiyang relaxed. "Qingyu, you're too good to me. If he agrees to take me as his apprentice, I'll definitely make a name for myself." Du Qingyu's expression remained impassive. Zhao Yiyang put his arm around her waist. He reached to knock, but stopped when he saw Du Qingyu pull a key from her pocket. Before he could process his surprise at her having a key, Du Qingyu led him inside. The spacious villa was dim. Not a single light was on. Zhao Yiyang reached for a switch, but Du Qingyu slapped his hand away. The force made him stumble, and he accidentally kicked the bags at his feet, sending their contents spilling out. Zhao Yiyang instinctively looked down. The black bags by the door were the ones Du Qingyu had carried in. Spirit money spilled out, several notes fluttering down onto his shoes. His eyes widened as he finally took in the room's strangeness. No one lived here. In a corner of the living room sat a framed photograph flanked by candlesticks and offerings. He spun around to flee, but his legs felt like jelly, weak and unresponsive. He couldn't run. Qingyu, what is this?" Du Qingyu hadn't reacted at all until now. Seeing him try to flee, her eyelids finally lifted. "Weren't you the one who wanted to meet him?" She sneered. The next second, she dragged him toward the corner shrine. When Zhao Yiyang saw the photograph was of Jiang Wang, his eyes bulged. How can it be him? Jiang Wang is dead? He's really dead?" Zhao Yiyang looked back and forth between the photo and Du Qingyu in terror. Her face deathly pale, Du Qingyu slowly advanced on him. Trembling violently, Zhao Yang stumbled backward until his back hit the wall. Du Qingyu grabbed a handful of his hair, violently dragging him before Jiang Wang's memorial portrait. Then, with a vicious shove, she slammed his head against the floor. Zhao Yang howled in pain. Thump, thump, thump. When Du Qingyu finally let go, blood streamed down Zhao Yang's forehead. Dazed and limp with terror, he couldn't even get up. Du Qingyu fetched a brazier, knelt beside him, and lit a fire in it right before his eyes. She sank to her knees, numb, an empty shell devoid of a soul. Carefully, she pulled out the joss paper, the ghost money, and tossed it into the brazier. She desperately needed to know where Jiang Wang was buried. She missed him so terribly. The longing kept her awake night after sleepless night. She asked her assistant, only to be told the news of Jiang Wang's death had come from an anonymous letter. The letter contained a photo of Jiang Wang's canceled ID, his medical records, and a picture of a gravestone showing only his name. Beyond that, there was nothing else. The assistant didn't know where Jiang Wang was buried either. The word struck Du Qingyu like lightning. But then, her thoughts quickly turned to the man relentlessly seeking revenge against her, Lu Zhizhou. He was Jiang Wang's friend. He had to know where Jiang Wang was buried. Maybe Lu Zhizhou had even buried Jiang Wang himself. Without a second thought, she raced to Lu Zhizhou's apartment, only to find he'd already moved out. His phone number and all other contact information had been changed too. She hired people to track him down, but they found nothing. She knew this was just another part of Lu Zhizhou's revenge. Qingyu, what did I do wrong? Why are you treating me like this? How have I failed you? He cried, desperately grabbing at the hem of her skirt. Du Qingyu kicked his hand away. Then, she scattered photos over him. You knew Jiang Wang was sick all along, didn't you? She stated flatly, her voice so raw it sounded like she might cough up blood at any moment. Zhao Yang flinched. His first instinct was to lie, to deny it, but the photos Du Qingyu had thrown at him clearly showed him there. He scrambled, desperate to explain, but Du Qingyu had no interest in hearing his excuses. She lunged, her slender fingers wrapping tightly around his throat. She watched, detached, as Zhao Yang's face slowly drained of color, becoming ashen like her own. Tears streamed down Du Qingyu's face even as she laughed, a harsh, broken sound, twisting her features into a terrifying mask. It was you. All because of you. You lied, told me he was faking it. If it weren't for you, I would have seen him one last time. Zhao Yang clawed desperately at her hands, struggling to break her grip. But just as suddenly, Du Qingyu let go. He scrambled away from her, collapsing in a corner, gasping for air, his eyes wide with terror and the shock of what just happened. Seeing Du Qingyu merely standing there, tears rolling down her numb face as her gaze fixed on Jiang Wang's memorial photo, he suddenly found a surge of bravado. You tried to kill me? For Jiang Wang? Du Qingyu, have you no conscience? So, I wasn't there for you when you were blind, so what? If we're keeping score, didn't you wrong me first? We promised to be together forever. You said I was the only one who could be your husband. But when your family forced me abroad, what were you doing? You were bickering with Jiang Wang. You claimed you hated him your whole life, yet you couldn't stop talking about him when you were with me. You said you loved me, but you just watched me leave. And let's not forget how, while married to Jiang Wang, you slept with 99 different men, all supposedly in the name of loving me. Du Qingyu, is this what you call love? It's cheap. It's disgusting. He finished emboldened, but a wave of fear immediately washed over him. He half expected her to lunge for his throat again. But Du Qingyu's eyes never left Jiang Wang's photograph. She obsessively lifted the photo, her fingers tracing his image again and again. You're right, she whispered, her voice hollow. I don't love you. I never did. The one I love is Jiang Wang. Zhao Yang's eyes widened in shock. Before he could process it, Du Qingyu's cold gaze snapped back to him. Yang, she said, her voice devoid of emotion, there's always a price to pay for your mistakes. Stay here in a tone, won't you? Du Qingyu locked Zhao Yang inside the villa. She confiscated his phone, took all his belongings, and left no food in the room. Ignoring his shouts, she deadbolted the main door and turned away. Her phone was blowing up with calls from her assistant. When Du Qingyu finally answered, the assistant let out a sigh of relief. CEO Du, you finally picked up? Something major has come up and needs your immediate attention. Du Qingyu didn't respond to that. Instead, she emotionlessly ordered into the phone, buy several cases of alcohol and send them to my house. Then she hung up, ignoring her phone completely. Back in her own room, she had sealed the windows shut and drawn the curtains tight. Clutching the pillow Jiang Wang once used, she greedily inhaled the lingering scent. But soon, she realized that even his unique fragrance was slowly fading away. She finally broke. The emotions she had suppressed for so long crashed over her like a tidal wave. Devastated, she screamed Jiang Wang's name, wishing more desperately than ever before that she could turn back time. By the time the assistant arrived, night had fallen. She knocked on the door for a long time, but there was no answer, and calls went straight to voicemail. A sense of dread crept in. She called a locksmith to open the door. The overpowering scent of blood hit her the moment it opened, making her frown deeply. Striding inside, she immediately spotted Du Qingyu collapsed on the floor. CEO Du. When Du Qingyu woke up, she found herself in a hospital bed. CEO Du, you can't keep drinking like this, her assistant pleaded. Du Qingyu ignored her, using her free hand to frantically search her body. The red string? Where's my red string? Her eyes were wild with panic. The next second, she ripped the 4-needle out of her hand. CEO Du, don't move. You need to rest, the assistant cried. What are you looking for? Tell me, I'll help you find it. Du Qingyu grabbed the assistant's arm tightly. The red string, did you see it? The one cut into several pieces. Her voice was frantic. Jiang Wang specially got it for me from the mountain temple. I finally found it hidden in his cabinet. I can't lose it. Help me find it. Go find it. Du Qingyu's grip left red marks on the assistant's arm. The assistant tried to hold the agitated woman down, but was forcefully pushed away. Slightly out of breath, the assistant said, "There was a lot of commotion when you were admitted. It might have fallen out on the way here or somewhere in the hospital. Don't worry, I'll go look for it right now. Let me just get the nurse to put your 4 back in." Before she could finish her sentence, Du Qingyu shot up from the bed and bolted out of the room. CEO Du, you just had surgery. You can't be out of bed. Du Qingyu ignored her assistant's cries, clutching her stomach as sharp pains shot through her. Every step felt like her insides were being torn apart. Breaking out in a cold sweat from the pain, she stumbled out of the elevator and immediately collapsed, hitting her head hard enough to draw blood. CEO Du, the assistant close behind, rushed to help her up. The assistant looked at her with a complicated expression. CEO Du, right now, the company needs you much more than that red string. Please, pull yourself together. Mr. Jiang, he's gone. You need to let go. She added softly. Besides, he loved you so much. He wouldn't want to see you like this. Du Qingyu's pupils trembled. That's right. Jiang Wang loved her so much. Yet she had hurt him again and again. When the Jiang family faced trouble, she had stood by and done nothing. Gasping for breath, she numbly wiped the blood dripping from her forehead and allowed the assistant to lead her back to the hospital room. From then on, she began to actively cooperate with her treatment, taking her medicine and accepting the 4 drips. Aside from being unable to sleep most nights, she seemed almost normal. After leaving the hospital, she threw herself back into work almost immediately. She practically lived at the company, her office lights burning late into the night. The assistant watched her from a distance through the door. Since returning, Du Qingyu had been abnormally calm. She had even arranged the acquisition of Jiang Enterprises, pouring all her best resources into reviving it. The Du family demanded she rename the Jiang company and put Du relatives in charge. Without blinking, Du Qingyu had them all thrown out. She had made many enemies for the sake of the Jiang family, and now she had thoroughly alienated her own Du relatives as well. The assistant shook her head and sighed. What's wrong? Worrying about CEO Du again? Someone asked the assistant. Looks like she's bounced back, doesn't it? She's more decisive and ruthless than ever. The assistant's gaze returned to Du Qingyu, hunched over her desk. Haven't you noticed? Noticed what? There's an air of death about her. Birthday wishes flooded Du Qingyu's phone. Only then did she remember, in a daze, that it was her birthday. She felt like a numb machine, her mind shutting down. Her fingers scrolled unconsciously through the screen, somehow landing on old messages from Jiang Wang. May 27th, 2024, midnight, Du Qingyu, happy birthday. May 27th, 2023, midnight, Du Qingyu, happy birthday. May 27th, 2022, midnight, Du Qingyu, happy birthday. The words on the screen felt like man-eating beasts. A chill ran through her, as if invisible beasts were viciously tearing at her. Unbearable agony shot through her limbs, and her body began to tremble uncontrollably. The phone slipped from her grasp, crashing hard onto the floor. Was it that Jiang Wang knew her too well? Knew she wouldn't even look at his messages? Or was she just too careless? She had never noticed that every single year, he was the very first person to wish her a happy birthday. A dull ache throbbed in her chest. She clutched at the spot tightly, as if it were the only way she could breathe. Once she had calmed down, she grabbed her car keys and headed straight out. The villa was eerily silent in the dead of night. The moment Du Qingyu opened the main door, a foul stench hit her. It was the smell of a rotting corpse. She didn't even turn on the lights, walking slowly towards Zhao Yiyang's body. Zhao Yiyang had starved to death. Before dying, he had gnawed his own hands raw. He was curled up painfully, as if trying to ease the suffering. Bloodstains streaked the wall where he had clawed it with his fingernails. Illuminated by the dim light, the scene was rather horrifying. But Du Qingyu felt no fear. She simply looked down calmly at the reeking corpse, her expression unnervingly composed. Her brow furrowed slightly as she spoke to Zhao Yiyang's body. "You've made a mess here." She rolled up her sleeves, fetched a basin of water, and began to clean up the scene. By the time dawn began to break, she had thoroughly taken care of Zhao Yiyang. She wiped the sweat from her forehead. Picking up Jiang Wang's funeral portrait again, she gently pressed a kiss to his lips in the photo. She let out a soft laugh, her tone tinged with complaint. "Jiang Wang, you exasperating man," she murmured. "You did so much for me. Why couldn't you just tell me? Everyone else gets presents on their birthday, but you just fobbed me off with a happy birthday? I know you did it on purpose. Because I didn't even know when your birthday was, you deliberately didn't give me a gift, right? Jiang Wang. But I know now. I know that day we went to the amusement park. That was your birthday. Your wish was for me to ride the Ferris wheel with you, but I didn't know anything. I called you childish and even left you there alone. Wasn't I awful? I bet you cursed me out after I left. Jiang Wang, you were right to curse me. I'm practically inhuman." She didn't have a single photo of Jiang Wang. Not one. So this funeral portrait, she had printed it from an old news interview of his. Her tears flowed faster, uncontrollably. Du Qingyu choked on her sobs. Her mind filled with the image of Jiang Wang's pale face after learning about his illness. It seemed like from that moment on, the ever-smiling Jiang Wang had stopped smiling. He asked her to accompany him for 5 last things. First, to go with him to a charity gala. But she bought the painting he wanted and gave it to Zhao Yiyang instead. Second, to travel with him to Tibet. But she abandoned him just as they were about to board the plane. She was actually rushing off to meet Zhao Yiyang, who had just returned to the country. Third, he asked her to stay and keep him company. She reluctantly agreed, barely containing her impatience, while secretly cursing him in her heart. Fourth, to go with him to the amusement park. Not only was she impatient, but she also gave him attitude all day and ignored his request. Fifth, he just wanted her to cook a meal for him, but she invited Zhao Yiyang over as well. Even now, she could recall the disappointment in Jiang Wang's eyes at that moment. The memory now felt like a knife twisting in her gut, an agonizing pain. These 5 things, she hadn't done a single one right. "Jiang Wang," she whispered, "how about I get revenge for you?" The words barely left her lips before she grabbed a wine bottle from the table. Crash! Crash! She slammed it against her own head again and again. Blood instantly streamed down, staining her clothes crimson. She lay on the sofa, clutching a memorial photo of Jiang Wang, when her phone suddenly rang. "I'm sorry, Ms. Du, the bounty hotline has been flooded with calls, but none of them are about the red string you're looking for." Understood. She closed her eyes, pain etched on her face. The next moment, she instructed her assistant to book a flight. If she couldn't find the original, she would go and pray for an identical one to wear. Hours later, the plane landed. Du Qingyu made the arduous journey to the foot of the mountain. Passers-by told her the temple was perched atop the mountain. Only those with sincere hearts and a destined connection would be granted an audience. Without a word, Du Qingyu pushed forward, head down. She didn't pause for a second, a bandage still wrapped around her forehead. Dizziness washed over her several times, but she forced herself to keep going, refusing to collapse. Most who came here were driven by deep obsessions. Seeing her state, others weren't surprised. As sunset approached, she finally reached the summit. Just then, the temple bells began to chime. She found a young monk and pleaded for an audience with the master. She had expected her wish to be granted swiftly. Instead, the young monk returned only with a note. "Your karmic obstacles run too deep. Your obsession is too strong. I will not see you." She stood rooted to the spot, stunned. As the young monk turned to leave, she hastily pulled out her phone. "I have money. Name your price. I can afford it. All I want is a red string. Just let the master give me another red string, so I can honor my late husband." "I'm sorry," the monk replied. "The master says he cannot grant what you seek. That red string, Mr. Jiang earned it through immense sincerity, prostrating himself with every step up the mountain. Your earthly ties with him are severed. You should let go. This attachment benefits neither you, nor him, nor anyone else. With that, he turned and walked away. Du Qingyu's outstretched hand slowly lowered. The final spark of hope in her eyes extinguished completely. Dejectedly, she returned to Jiancheng, only to be immediately surrounded by police officers. Ms. Du, one said, regarding the disappearance of Mr. Zhao Yang. We need you to come in for questioning. Numbly, Du Qingyu followed the police into their car. Somehow tipped off, the media descended, cameras flashing wildly as they photographed her being escorted away. The story made headlines that very day. Du Qingyu remained remarkably calm throughout the questioning. Without concrete evidence, the police had no grounds to arrest her. When her assistant picked her up, he detailed the fallout from the incident. But Du Qingyu's thoughts were consumed by the master's words. Wearily, she rubbed her temples. Didn't Jiang Wang have a nephew he was close to? The assistant looked stunned for a long moment before slowly nodding. Make the arrangements. Ask him to come to the company and have the share transfer documents prepared. Ms. Du, the assistant exclaimed. You're transferring the Jiang Corporation to him? Are you absolutely sure? Nearly all our resources are tied up there. This meant Du Qingyu was essentially cutting off a vital part of her own enterprise. Just do it. Her voice was dry and raspy. Any news on Lu Zhizhou? A flicker of hope sparked in her eyes. The assistant lowered his gaze. No, we can't find any travel records for him. He must still be somewhere in Jiancheng. Keep looking. Du Qingyu commanded, too exhausted to utter another word. She slowly closed her heavily bloodshot eyes. News that Du Qingyu planned to return the Jiang Corporation to Jiang Wang's family sent shockwaves through the Du household. They universally condemned her, implying that the scandal of her police questioning had already left the Du family in a precarious, panicked state. Their angry shouts echoed in her ears. Enough! The Du family fortune will be squandered by this unworthy heir sooner or later. If only we had known, we should have. She slowly raised her eyes. Or else what? Hearing her cold tone, the person who had spoken instantly fell silent, their gaze faltering as they shrank back. Seeing this, Du Qingyu sneered. What? Lost your nerve? Regretting not bringing that illegitimate son back then? Her father had an illegitimate son. Turns out, everyone in the Du family knew except her. Back when she was blinded in the car accident, every one of them started plotting, wanting her to step down and hand over power. If it weren't for Jiang Wang's meticulous care, if he hadn't stayed by her side through it all, this pack of vultures would have devoured her alive long ago. At this thought, a painful knot tightened in her chest again. She watched as their eyes widened, as if shocked at how she found out. Du Qingyu's expression grew even colder, enough to make one shiver. Not only will I not hand over the Jiang Corporation to any Du family member, but I'll also kick every last one of you parasites out. She had people escort them out and demanded back everything they had freeloaded from the Du family over the years. Furthermore, she had her assistant increase the reward money. The assistant held little hope, but unexpectedly, one night, she received a photo of a red string cut into several pieces. The style was exactly as Du Qingyu had described. She immediately called the sender. Seeing the person wasn't satisfied with the hefty sum, she proactively offered more, but he still refused to return it. Sir, what is it you truly want? The man on the other end suddenly let out a cold laugh and made only one demand. I want Du Qingyu to turn herself in. The assistant broke into a cold sweat, convinced the man on the phone was the person Du Qingyu was looking for. She called Du Qingyu immediately. After explaining everything, the line went quiet. Ms. Du. When she still didn't answer, the assistant gathered her courage. Ms. Du, regardless of whether that photo is real or not, even if it is, you can't fall for this. This person is clearly targeting you. The breathing on the other end was faint, almost inaudible unless she listened closely. Ms. Du. Du Qingyu finally spoke slowly. Give me his number. He called from a borrowed phone. I already checked. Understood. After hanging up, Du Qingyu tightened her arms, clutching the funeral portrait to her chest. Everyone told her time heals all wounds, that what she felt for Jiang Wang was just guilt, and that eventually she could let it all go. She'd even wondered, for a moment, if it really was just guilt. After all, she and Jiang Wang had known each other for years, bickering and arguing for so long, and he was her husband in name. But as the days passed, not only did she not forget Jiang Wang, but the memories of their time together grew sharper, more heart-wrenching. She realized then that true love doesn't fade with time. Instead, it deepens, the memories etched into her very bones, forcing her to relive them again and again in self-torment, afraid to ever forget. She loved Jiang Wang. No words were needed to prove it. She knew what Liu Zizhou wanted. Just her utter ruin and disgrace. Fine, she'd give it to him, as long as he returned the red string Jiang Wang had given her. News of Du Qingyu turning herself in broke the same day, including footage of her identifying the body. She went through the motions numbly, like completing a procedure. Everyone in the Du family hated her to the bone. With her gone, they could take her place. The moment the news broke, fearing it wasn't sensational enough, they poured money into maximizing its exposure. Du Qingyu remained impassive throughout, except when making her sole request, when a flicker of normal human emotion crossed her face. I've done what I promised. Where's Liu Zizhou? Liu Zizhou had already left for Jiangxing the day he saw the news. Du Qingyu refused to see anyone except him. Hearing this, Liu Zizhou's face filled with mockery. He looked impassively at Du Qingyu opposite him through the glass partition. Her face was haggard and worn. Where was the dazzling radiance she once had? Seeing her in this state, Liu Zizhou was ecstatic. If photos weren't forbidden, he would definitely have taken one to burn as an offering, so Jiang Wang in the underworld could see it too. Looking at Liu Zizhou, she licked her chapped lips. The red string. Liu Zizhou didn't mention the string, instead pulling a notebook from his bag. Du Qingyu's eyes were fixed unwaveringly on his every move. Liu Zizhou pressed the diary against the glass partition. What's this? Du Qingyu asked, confused. She wanted the red string. Liu Zizhou didn't speak, simply opened the notebook for her to see. Seeing the contents, Du Qingyu's eyes widened. Every page, every line was covered in crooked, shaky handwriting. Liu Zizhou said nothing, but her lips began to tremble uncontrollably. After a moment, Liu Zizhou spoke slowly. Du Qingyu, the letters you received back then weren't written by Wang at all. Of course, you wouldn't know how much pain he was in, how much he suffered, but he still used all his strength to write these words. He wanted to do 10 things with you, but you thought it was too many and only agreed to 5. He wrote the rest in this notebook. The letters you saw were just copies I made. Du Qingyu stared blankly at Liu Zizhou's face, tears unknowingly streaming down hers. Was he in a lot of pain when he passed? Liu Zizhou didn't answer, just watched her silently. After a long pause, he looked down and flipped further into the notebook. He held it up to the glass again. Before her eyes was a sentence Jiang Wang had written as neatly as he could manage. If I have the chance, I want to come see this with Du Qingyu. Du Qingyu felt as if her heart had been ripped open, bleeding uncontrollably. She broke down completely, pounding her head with her fists. I love him. I love Jiang Wang. I love him. Du Qingyu wept bitterly, like a child denied candy. Her eyes filled with such helpless confusion that anyone watching would believe she truly loved Jiang Wang. But Liu Zizhou stared at her for a long time before letting out a laugh. Du Qingyu, do you really love a Wang? She nodded painfully. She loved him. Why did she only realize now how deeply she loved Jiang Wang? Why had she been so stupid? Why had she kept hurting the man she loved most? She hadn't even seen him one last time. Wrong, Du Qingyu. You don't love a Wang at all. Impossible. How would you know how much I love him? You don't understand, she screamed furiously at Liu Zizhou. Why didn't you come find me then? Why did you only call? You made me miss my last chance to see him. Seeing her like this, Liu Zizhou merely curled his lip in a sneer. Du Qingyu, you claimed to love a Wang, yet you didn't even realize the writing on the confession wall wasn't his but mine. And that photo of his back, that wasn't a Wang either. It was me. Your love is shallow, ignorant, and selfish. You were never worthy of a Wang-esque love for you. Liu Zizhou turned and left without a backward glance. Du Qingyu stared wide-eyed and desolate at his retreating back, unable to process anything for a long time. The police found Zhao Yang's body parts. The Zhao family, hoping to extort money from the Du family, deliberately live-streamed their grief, occasionally posting photos online depicting their son's alleged abuse. Meanwhile, the Du family scrambled to distance themselves from Du Qingyu. The two families fought fiercely, providing endless drama for onlookers, but no one was willing to support either family's businesses anymore. Du Qingyu's sentence was quickly finalized. She didn't appeal, simply existed day by day like a soulless husk, waiting for her execution. She even held a sliver of anticipation. Would she finally see Jiang Wang in the afterlife? She was almost eager. Liu Zizhou visited Jiang Wang's grave again, bringing many of the foods Jiang Wang had loved but could no longer eat in life. He smiled, wiping the photo on the headstone. A Wang, Grandma, said you've already been reincarnated into a good family. In this life, you'll have loving parents and a protective older sister. You'll live a very, very happy life. Just as you wished in this life, you will never meet Du Qingyu again.